Let me get some music on, guys. Hi, guys. How's it going? Let me get some music here. Yep. Yes, how's it going? Sounds good. Let me go ahead and get started, guys. I'm sort of new at the sound stuff, so sorry if my sound is all off. But I wanted to continue my series on narcissism as a network. And we're going to talk about agents inside of the matrix structures. Now, remember, let's go back to the movie The Matrix, and remember Neo, right? Let me see if I can pull it up here. Okay. Try and show you. I'm gonna try to help you understand how these networks work. Okay, so let's see here. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you.
My record label,
trying to help you understand more about the networks around you, more particularly the people around you. Right? They work in very complicated ways, and they work in ways outside your awareness. You have to understand this. And so I'm trying to red pill you, right? Listen here.
Even now in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes.
So what is the matrix here? The matrix is your ego. Okay, so I'm a psychiatrist, and particularly I focus on neuropsychiatry, and so I'm obsessed with the ego. And guys, this is what I've learned. If you want to escape all your suffering, all you have to do is escape your ego. That's it. They make everything so complicated. Listen, it's not easy to do. Probably less than 1% is able to actually achieve escaping the ego, but that's the ultimate goal if you want to end all your suffering. And so the ego is a network in your brain. And the ego indexes everything around you. The ego says up is down, down is up, left is right, right is black, black is black, blue is green, green is black, this is the sky. The ego indexes everything. So when you observe it, you automatically understand what it is, right? When you get to, if you had a baby crawl to the edge of a cliff or something, they won't go over. They'll look down, right? But they won't go over. Why? Because their ego says, hey, this scenario means danger, so you should stop, right? Now, the thing with the ego is everyone's ego do the best it can do. It's not perfect. So people's ego interprets the world, and it renders the world for them. And many people have a lot of difficulties with their egos, and therefore they have a lot of problems, right? They become problematic when their ego assigns things and perception to them that people around them disagree, right? And so the ego is the ultimate network that you're going to have to free yourself on, right? Now, people with primitive egos are all existing in the same primitive reality. That reality is at the bottom. Jesus referred to that reality as the flesh, right? And that's referred to as do or die. And in that lowest primitive reality, nothing's wrong. That's just how it works. That's how it works down there. And nothing's wrong. So you're looking at the wars that are going on, you look at the violence that's going on. Really, you have your moral opinion about it, but it's neither good or bad. It's just an action that goes on all the time. And you assign the meaning to it. So here, this series is on narcissism and network. We're going to look at the agents inside of the network, inside of the system. So remember, the ego is a network inside your brain, but then primitive people with primitive functioning egos all sync up. They all groom up. That's why your narcissistic mother is partnering with your narcissistic partner to keep you submerged into a reality where they both control you, right? Your narcissistic mother will partner with the people who would torture you before they do anything to generally help you. And that's the sad thing about agents. is that when they become our parents, when agents are our parents or agents are our spouses, if it's a spouse, an agent as a child, agent as a employer. And what do I mean agent? People who exist at the bottom behave very similarly. Number one, they're all victims. And you constantly see the aggressive victims, meaning I have a right to destroy your life because I believe you did something to me. Not destroy your life because I believe you may have done something to me. That aggressive victim, they all have their complex. And you can't do nothing with them. I mean, absolutely nothing. And when they come for you, they come for you real hard. They come for you with the ferocity of God, right? They are unconscious, meaning they're primitive. You only get action, reaction, no thought in between. So agents are the perfect people to control. If you're going to run you a sociopathic network, you better understand how agents operate. And what do I mean by how agents operate? These people at the bottom are so sick that they are chronically in energy deficient environments and realities. And when someone who manages a network reaches down and gives them the energy to move from that low compartment all the way up the system to sit right next to them. When the man looks at that unconscious idiot, the one who's willing to target you, the one who's willing to harm you, to who are willing to rape your children. And the narc looks at that one and say, hey, I'm going to promote that one. And I'm going to give this one so much resources that they're simply going to I'm going to buy them way out of their lower socioeconomic compartment. And I'm going to give them all the things that suggest that they really belong with the civilized, right? These are unconscious animals. And they don't belong with civilized people. When they get around civilized people, they unalive them. They torture them. They bring hell to them. In this episode, we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Jay-Z. Man, it's cold. I remember when Tupac died, right? And I remember when they started really pushing Jay-Z's content. And basically, the powers that be took this uneducated drug dealer, sociopathic narcissist, and basically made him a billionaire. And when he became a billionaire, he began to work on their behalf. I'm sure suppressing all the talent, destroying all the talent, sexually assaulting people, abusing people. And now it's not like he had the natural talent to get to that position. No, Tupac was unalived, and then they invested him in so many resources that they eventually created a star for us and then gifted him with unlimited Grammys to ensure that his position was stabilized. For generations. How can you overthrow a man with 24 Grammys? And so if you look at all this, these agents, what they do, if you ever go back and look at the Truman Show, let me show you here. You have to go back and look at the Truman Show because this is what's going on right now. It's like everyone's trying to throw us in the Truman Show by feeding us information they know it's not true, right? And so in this case, over several decades, we were entertained by the sociopaths who unalived all the people we cared for. They unalived all the people who made us feel good about ourselves. They unalived all of the artists who made us feel inspiration. They unalived all of them. And they pumped the messages that the people who want to unalive our children want us to have. I mean, they push the filth to us. I mean, rap has become basically a death cult where if you want to get to the top, you have to be willing to squeeze the lead, if you know what I mean. If you want to get to the top, I mean, it's kill or be killed in a music industry. And how does it get like that in a civilized society where if you are a person who wants to go into the music industry, you actually have to compete within the death cult? And the person who survives at the end is the one who gets all the rewards. It's like Thanos on Fortnite. You get all the rewards. And then the person who arises is the one who's being funded by an external government. This is nuts. And it's designed to give us messages that'll harm us. And so we, with Jay-Z leading rap and Diddy leading rap, we've been placed in the Truman Show because we only got their values. You know, we only got what they felt was important. And those messages they were designed to harm us. They weren't designed to help us. And so that's what we're talking about here. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Jay-Z. So let me just go through some of these. So this is the Truman Show here, and basically, the man was moving. I don't want to let the movie go. I don't want to red light the movie, but look at this, you know. And this is what these narcissists trying to do. And I will really encourage you not to drink the Kool-Aid, right? Because if darkness is going to approach you, darkness comes all the way around you. It's like a fog. But it has one thing. It can't reach out and touch you until it finds something you're attached to. And when it finds something you're attached to, that's when it deploys an agent. Right? And that agent sits there and watches you and studies you. And what they do is broadcast all your weaknesses out to everybody. They broadcast them in the form of smear campaigns, in the form of lying on you, in the form of trying to tell your business, things like that. That's how they have to. They awaken all the unconscious hordes and give them all of the information about your attachment. So no matter who you go to around these sick clusters, all of them will know how to get back at you. All of them will know how to cause you harm. And this group stalking behavior is set up by narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, mainly narcissists, but also psychopaths and sociopaths. So here, let's go ahead and look at, let me see, Jay-Z. Oh, okay, so let me do this. I have here, I went to the Department of Justice website here, and let me see if I can enlarge this text. Okay, let's say zoom in. Okay, great. Okay, here. Okay, so Epstein, child sex trafficking. Okay, this is 7/2019. Okay, 2019. Wow, look at this. It's great. Okay, 7/2019. Okay, on 7/10/2019 at 8:20 a.m. Called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of sexual abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others. Okay. They provided approximate information in approximately 1994. Okay, so how many years is that later? Okay, 24, 90, 30. Okay. She revealed herself as a past victim of sex abuse by Epstein. She described the abuse occurring during parties. Blank further identified so-and-so as a male friend of so-and-so. I guess Pusha as a male friend of Jay-Z, I guess. In approximately to 1996. Okay, now look, this is 1994. Okay, 2 years later. So unfortunately, this young person is still caught in this system for 2 years. You know, in approximately 1996, she resided with whoever in whatever. In an unknown man abducted her from her home, which she later woke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z. Awful. While Weinstein had inserted himself into believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Now look at the cruelty that comes along with this. And so, if this is true, so this relationship, this 2-year relationship that's going on with this one person, there's remember, if you're going to survive this, you have to awaken out of the delusional systems that they try to keep you in, right? And you have to not get involved in it and learn to sort of think for yourself. There's a quality when you're around these sick narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths. There's an eerie, empty, void feeling that you get, like in your stomach and all your body. It's just creepy when you get into their reality. And the reason why is their reality isn't real, right? And they have a remarkable ability to ignore suffering. So these people can see a child being exploited, harmed, crying, bleeding, hurting, watch it, observe it, probably masturbate to it, and then just walk on as if nothing happened at all. And that's the sick feeling you get when you're around these agents and these people who are trying to turn you into trying to become your handler, right? See, the reason why I'm using Jay-Z and Weinstein as an example of this little girl is to try to help you understand the people who are actually doing this to you, right? And the people who are actually doing to you are the people who are closest to you: mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, child, best friend, neighbor, employer, your psychologist, your therapist. If they occupy the bottom, they all the same. Whomever estimated she was abducted on 7 occasions, awakening each time in an opulent indoor setting. Suffer from sex abuse on multiple occasions with Epstein, in which Epstein participated. She recalled Leon Black and William Barr, current United States Attorney General, being present during some of the occasions of abuse. And you see, so remember when I was saying that the whole thing is narcissism is a network. When you're in front of that narcissist, you're not in front of a person, you're in front of a receptacle. This person is a feeler. This person is collecting information from wherever they're sent to provide it back to this network. And you're not dealing with the individual, you're dealing with the people who actually control the individual, meaning the people who control the network. So remember, Jesus Christ made reference to this. He said, you're not fighting against flesh and blood, meaning not fighting against the person in front of you. You're fighting against power and principalities in high places. And this is an eerie message for these young girls. It's just an eerie and unfortunate message for the girls, because Jesus's warning clarification is clear. It helps you understand how significant the danger that these young ladies are in, right? Remember, you're not fighting against flesh and blood, meaning the sociopathic narcissist that's sexually assaulting you. You're fighting against power and principalities in high places, meaning Trump and Barr and the people who are protecting the sick narcissist who's sexually abusing you, right? In Jesus' interpretation, you're not fighting against flesh and blood, you're fighting against power and principalities in high places, but you automatically assume that you can handle the flesh and blood. You automatically assume you can handle the flesh and blood, but what about the power and principality in high places, the structure? Oh, you cannot go up against that. But when this structure double downs on the person who's torturing you, then what are you going to do about it? In this case, I don't know what we're going to do as a society besides wither away if we don't find a way to correct this. We cannot have the most vulnerable people in our society, which are little children and little girls for their physiology, for their biology, for their bodies. We cannot allow them to be under the control of powerful elite sociopaths because it means abandon hope. There's no one else to appeal to if the people who control our governments are the ones who are torturing you and you are a child. And it is so awful for our society and for our leaders to sign on to this, to abandon all of these little bitty girls to these sick sociopathic men. It is awful. This is disgusting. I have no idea where this is going, but it's going straight to the bottom. I think every healthy person in our society should draw a line with these awful perverts and double down on protecting the children. That's the only way to move forward through this. That's the only way to move forward through this. And this is making everything clear. All the people who participated in this, it seems like that crop of stars 20 years ago, Oprah, Jay-Z, Beyonce, I'm sure Tyler, I'm sure, and I'm sure all of these people, they drank the Kool-Aid. I mean, they drank the Kool-Aid, and these people are the ones who lead our culture. But they sit down when it comes to defending little bitty girls. It's awful. I can't imagine how terrifying it has to be for any victim of a sexual assault to see the U.S. Attorney General also purportedly participating in these activities also. Awful. And these are the people who make decisions on our behalf. These are the people who torture little girls and they go out and make decisions on our behalf. There's something wrong. On one occasion, she believed she was drugged, clouding her memory and attributing the drugging as frequently performed by persons assigned as handlers, whom she describes as persons who establish friendships with the victims. Among the handlers, she identified artist Pusha T. I grew up around these sick narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, so I understand what it's like growing from the inside of that crowd and everything, and rejecting it during the process, understanding it was sick. And I remember I wrote a rhyme that sort of described my experience with dealing with these sick people. And here it goes. It says, because I noticed the pattern, you stopped by just to see me die, right? You got a thrill trying to get me killed, right? You paid the loot when they came to do me, right? And then you walk by like you never knew me. These are lyrics I wrote when I was like 16. Like 16 years old. I was a rapper on the south side of Chicago. J Love was the name. I still got my mixtapes out there I'm trying to find. But that's what it was. That's what I'm saying. Narcissism networks, these agents, they come as your friends, as your mother, as your father, as your husband, as your wife, as your best friend, as your doctor. As your doctor. And here it is, Pusha T. Yeah. She described as persons who establish friendships with the victims. So this is a network. So again, they bring people into your life for the purpose of befriending you and getting close. And while that friend is there, they are not there as an individual. They're there as a receptacle, and they're there just to transmit the information from you to the network so they can understand everything you're attached to. When they find out what you're attached to, that's what they attach. That's what they attack. They attack what you attach to. When they remove what you attach to, then you go into a crisis because you no longer have the things that you need to stabilize yourself psychologically. So they don't need to do anything to you. They don't need to break any crimes. They just need to pull and destroy what you're attached to. If you're attached to your reputation, sure, they're going to smear it out. If you're attached to your job, they're going to tell your job. Listen, if you are an empathetic parent who's attached to your child, which we all are, they're going to alienate your child from you. And it's going to be your mother and your father cooperating with them in the background. It's going to be your sister. It's going to be your brothers talking to them in the background, making them feel that they're not doing anything wrong, listening to them, but all alone and everything, supporting the trend of alienating your child against you. Yeah, and people with empathy have to face that all the time, parental alienation. Yeah. And look here, in approximately 2007, okay, so where are we at now? Oh, gosh, this is awful. Look, 94, 96, 2007, 13 years later, she attended a party following an invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down the street. Weinstein and Pusha T also attended the party and drugged her before engaging in sexual abuse. And then look, so, okay, this is, I'm gonna see when did Jay-Z drop his album, because I think, see, the sadistic leaders of these networks have to find sick people who are going to do their bidding. So I bet you after these ritualistic sexual abuse things, where now Weinstein and Jay-Z are now tied together through sexual assaults and drugging and all that stuff, meaning they're not going to squill on each other. Right? So that means that this was likely Jay-Z's initiation into this club. And I want to see at what point did his album drop. Okay. But he claimed to have additional information on other persons involved in the enterprise and information related to racketeering conducted in support of trafficking. Further believe she was under surveillance and stalked at the direction of people involved in the sex abuse. Yeah, and I think that is true because they always try to videotape you, record you. Anything these sick people do, they do. She confirmed she was not diagnosed with any mental illness. She refused to provide any physical address, advising that she maintained no permanent address, whether she moved between staying at different hotels. Right. Awful. So let me see here. Okay, 1994. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna go here. I have ChatGPT. List the years Jay-Z. List the years Jay-Z released his albums. Okay. Because basically they become handlers for the industry, right? And so at this point, if Jay-Z is going to simply get the preferential treatment for all providers because he's the one who's carrying out their sadistic plan, then that means that the entire music ecosystem is corrupted. That means that the people who are getting the Grammys and making the hits are the ones who is being selected by the people who run the network, not by the listeners, right? They are choosing our stars for us, and they're pumping the music and the messages to us that weakens us. And look here, okay, Reasonable Doubt came in 1996. And this is what, 1994, 2 years. And then look, 1996, Mansion in Florida in 1996. And so look, and so his first album, right? First album came out. And then think about this, Harvey Weinstein was a very powerful Hollywood producer Why is the Harvey Weinstein running trains with a rapper who hasn't even come out with an album yet? I mean, at this point, he's just Jay-Z is just in the sea of other rappers, and he wasn't that good compared to all the other ones. He simply was, in my opinion, he wasn't that good. And when his album started coming out, I don't think it wasn't enough. I don't think this work is good enough to have won 24 Grammys, right? And so here, as you can see, he ran the train with Epstein 2 years before his album dropped. And where did he get the clout to run a train with Epstein? Right? How did he get in the club? At that point, he hadn't had any notoriety. He hasn't had any success. And so how do you get into the club? You know, what these sick people do, they pray, they'll do anything they can to get ahead. And they have no concerns about throwing you under the bus or ending anything that you have, as long as they get what they want. So here, and so they have and again, think about this, Jay-Z seeing this happen to this girl repeatedly and not saying anything about it, participating in it. It's awful stuff. Awful stuff. Let me see here. So yeah, reason or not, let me see here. Okay. Let me see. Jay-Z. I had to look stuff up myself, y'all. So let me see here. Are you 18 years old? Yep. Okay, this is something else. Okay, let's say this. K.E. Kanye 50 Cent tune in the hot stream. Let me see what's happening there. Okay, this is some like press release or something like that. See here. I was looking at these. They were this stuff is interesting. Tracking this information down like this. I don't think I want to follow this anymore because I think I get too involved. I'm getting too involved in trying to search this stuff down. Okay, let me just move on here. Let me see.
Man. He's even got a song called Big Pimpin'. His name has been associated with wrongdoing and wrongings for too long and too many times. It's not looking good for Jay-Z, man. He's even got a song.
The Justice Department released pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein on Friday. Notably, Jay-Z's name appears in a reported file in the FBI hotline in 2019. So it's so crazy. This is so many years ago, and now it's just coming up. Beyonce's husband is not the only name noted there. The likes of Pusha T and Harvey Weinstein.
So remember this one here? Look, remember this billionaire brunch. This is nuts, first of all. But these are all the people who were basically paid to lead us to our deaths, and these are the people who are being paid to target our children, to basically turn our children against us. I mean, these are the people who wants to put their values into our children. And these are the people who are targeting our little girls. I think if there's anything that gets a man mad, is that you target little children. But there's something even more vulnerable about little boys too. But it's just something vulnerable about men targeting little boys, something like that. Let's look at this. And look at it in hindsight.
2020, y'all.
Okay.
2020, y'all. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. You understand?
Now, here's the thing about narcissists, right? They can only think about themselves and think about their world, right? And when they talk about themselves and everything, they talk about it very competently and responsibly. But then when they have to describe things outside of themselves, they pick a role to play, and they have to describe it in terms of role. Now, this reminds me of the movie with Nino Brown and the let me show you. What was the Nino Brown movie? And I'll go to the scene. To me, he's replaying a movie scene, right? Because his ego doesn't allow him to describe anything outside of himself and stuff like that. So, and that's common with all, you look at Erica Kirk and everything, she can only behave like a widow, a Christian widow, and everything is narrow in that. So she's the perfect Christian, the perfect woman on and off, and nobody's like that. Let me see. This is what was the name of that movie with Wesley Snipes? What's it, Chris?
What?
Is this movie here?
No, this shit ain't happening. I should have killed you myself, bitch.
See, that's the difference between you and me.
So this is the character Diddy's playing right here. I can't wait till you go back.
You fucked up.
This is it. This is simple like
You
that.
fucked up big time. You're incapable of running this shit. Sit your $5 ass down before I'm...
So this is the character Diddy's playing right here in this movie, right? Right, and so let me show you this. All right, and so there's the thread. Let me just.
All he gets is a year.
This is what we said.
No, this shit ain't happening. I should have killed you myself, bitch.
See, that's the difference between you and me.
Don't get mad, Tito. It's the law.
Sucks, huh? Yeah, well, this is over with. Come work for me.
And the reason why I say that this is the same thing, Diddy is playing the role of Nino Brown in this movie, is because neither one of them earned the assets that they had. They stole it. They stole it from the people around them. He was a drug, Nino Brown was a drug dealer, so he stole from the community, right? And Diddy, same thing. He stole everyone's projects and doing all this, and he's responsible for that now. But then he talks about it, and he has to talk about it, right? But he can't talk about it competently. He has to play the role of Nino Brown unconsciously. So watch his role, right? And then I think Jay started to look up because he started to recognize the theatrical nature of this performance and how it resembles the movie. Look.
And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch.
Okay, you're not a black billionaire, man. You're getting all the money from Israel. Man, you didn't work bad. You killed off the competition, bro. You killed off the competition, man. He's the one behind all the killing off the competition, right? And then Jay-Z, man, what's up with this? So you haven't done their lying to you, man.
Right. We here together
And then he said, who here together? No, y'all ain't together.
Stand together. We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else. Right. To us.
And then They look the over-exaggerated response, leading the scene and the celebration, and everything. And then his famous black excellence, man. You getting all your money for Israel, man, and you haven't done anything. Let me go back.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay, the Department J. The new
2020, y'all. Yeah. It's different than.
Let me see here.
You fucked up. You fucked up big time. You're incapable of running this shit. Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Kareem brought him to my attention.
We got 300 people at all times. I can't keep my eye on every single one of them.
You was taking care of
If
business
I was
instead
what?
of...
If I was what? Say it again. What'd you say?
No.
That's what I thought you said. Because that's what I got right now.
Now watch how you get a queen.
Business. Reduce the fucking rumbles. What? Huh? Nino. Huh? It's your responsibility, huh? Nino.
Yeah, look at that. What I'm saying here. Now, let's go back to what he says here. Right? Come in. Yeah. See, that's what I'm trying to describe. The nature of this character. The character is inconsistent. The character comes and goes. The character fights against itself. Here. The unpredictable nature here. Let me just show you Diddy's comments here. Let me show you how this connected to that. And when you start to see these agents, they play these roles. And so when they come in front of you, they don't generally act as if they're a friend, or they don't generally act as if there's mutual respect. They come to you as a character, either as a vixen, or either as a jerk, or either as a funny person, or either as a savior, or either as a hero, but they have difficulty engaging with you as a normal person. Let me just go back and just focus on what he's saying here.
Right. And we here together and we keep staying.
Now,
you understand?
Now watch. He knows that he's getting his funding directly from Jay, and him knows he's getting his funding directly from Israel, right? But the message they're giving out to the group of black men around them is that there's some camaraderie here, that we have some common goal together. Now he's selling them, he's gaslighting them, he's selling them a bunch of poop, right? There's no loyalty amongst him and the men he's around. He's only loyal to the narcissistic network that that initiated him. And I'm sure he had to go. If this network will kill you, even if you are in prison and can get the president to fight on your behalf, I'm sure it will unalive. I'm sure you had to go through ritual sexual abuse in order to get jumped into the club. So his real obligation, Jay-Z and Diddy's real obligation, is to the narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath of the elite club they're in. That's a global club, and they're just talking a lot of bullshit mumbo to the black men around them, selling them bullshit in a way that sounds reasonable. And from their perspective, they're looking, hey, well, we haven't seen many black billionaires, and all of a sudden there's two. Now we got a club, two in front of us, and we're saying, hey, we're black billionaires, black excellence, all of this, man, this is shit, right? And look at these two. Look at him. He looks like a shyster. Jay looks like a shyster. These do not look like healthy people. These look like unconscious people. So I think that's all I have for today, and hopefully this will be helpful for you. So remember, this series is Narcissism Is a Network, and I'm talking about agents now, and right? And the agents are the people in this system that constantly search for your attachments and constantly set things up. If they're not attacking you directly, they're attacking you through third parties. If not, they're attacking you through third parties, then they're selling your information to recruit other sick narcissists around you to attack you also. So when So it's interesting that if you go back through your life, go back to your early childhood, right? And start to think when you begin to have some of the depression or some of the anxiety, right? Start to think when you were starting to have the most psychological and emotional pain, who was there? If that childhood friend was there and that childhood friend is in your life now and you're still having the same issues, they place these handlers and these agents, they start very early in your life. Particularly, remember, like 85% of the population is below an energy level that makes this such that they can't produce anything. So 85% of the population around you is inconsequential, meaning they cannot have any benefit to you. They're simply existing here around in the environment, maintaining the environment, right? They're here to maintain the expressway so you can you can have a good experience when you drive your car, right? They're here to build all the tall buildings so that you can live and enjoy the 70th floor view, right? But all of the people who run around on this planet are not designed to actually be in part of your life because they don't have all the software upgrades within the ego. You got me? And so you guys are constantly dealing with trauma, abuse because you don't recognize that you're in a relationship with an agent, that you're born in a family of agents, and there's not, and you recognize at some point that there is no way that they're ever going to stop, right? That's the common thing that you understand about all of these sick people is that when they start, they never stop. That's why they're described as agents, right? I hope this is helpful for you, as it's very helpful for me. You know, when I started to understand this concept and I began to sort of look back at my life, I can see the people around me who were targeting me and they were acting as if they were my friend. It was so creepy to see what you're actually doing when you're pretending to be my friend. And then when they find out, they poof, shoot, and they disappear and they hide. Oh, they hide. And these people are sick. So I hope that's helpful for you. Hey, Diane. Thanks for your support, Diane. Appreciate your comments. Okay. I think that's all I have for today's guys. So join me on my other series. I'm going to start talking about the different type of agents and things like that. Particularly when your agent is a parent, right? When an agent is a spouse or when an agent is a child, this is like when an agent is in a community, right? So if you at work and you work for narcissistic structures, then they always enable these people and give them unlimited power to target you no matter what you want. And if you're in those situations, it's best that you get out of those as soon as possible, because there's no way that is going to help you in any way. Yeah. So, hey, the hard part is when it's your adult children. When you heal, you start to understand a lot about what happens, right? So when you heal, it doesn't hurt at all. When you heal, you sort of empathize with them, right? Because they're trapped in that primitive world, and no matter what they do, nothing is going to ever work out. So you sort of feel empathy for them being trapped in a delusional system that someone trapped them in. Man, it's like the adult child is like living in a sunken place, So it's a pleasure talking to you guys. Feel free to watch my next episode. I'll try and do one in the next hour or so. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you later. Read out. Ciao.